For the last 25 years, biotech research has grown in both the United States and in other countries. In the early 1990s, mostly soybeans, corn, canola, and cottonseed oil were the few plants that were tinkered with genetically in order to produce desirable traits, resistant to pests, and able to withstand less than desirable growing conditions. Biotech facilities such as Monsanto and Procter & Gamble are among those that are being used for not only the production but the cultivation of food as well. Biotech supporters seem to think that this way of food production is more favorable and less harmful to the earth, but these facilities produce wastewater that is absorbed into the earth and contaminates the surrounding area's groundwater supply.
The victimization of small farmers by big corporations has led to many lawsuits by the farmers fight against judgments and fines they are issued for patent infringement due to cross-contamination. Monsanto patents their crops and will go to the small farms to test crops if they believe cross-contamination has occurred. If cross-contamination crops are found, they will file claims against these farmers for patent infringement, resulting in hefty fines as royalty payments.
Biotech facilities can meet the public supply and demand better than organic methods just for the simple fact that GM foods are grown at a faster rate and have not been proven to have less nutritional value. These foods are more readily available to the public and overall cost less than organic foods. In the United States, the regulatory process has 3 different government agencies that have jurisdiction over GM foods. The EPA evaluates GM plants for environmental safety. The USDA evaluates whether the plant is safe to grow. The FDA evaluates whether the plant is safe to eat. Generally modified foods have the potential to solve many of the world's hunger and malnutrition problems, and to help protect and preserve the environment by increasing yield and reducing reliance upon chemical pesticides and herbicides.
Meanwhile, the FDA has no set requirements for GMO testing and the effects they may have when consumed. It turns out the entire U.S. population has unwillingly become the guinea pigs for these findings. Meanwhile, most European and Asian countries have banned GMOs. Researchers in Germany have found that the DNA from genetically modified foods is not being digested and therefore being absorbed into the human chromosomes and ultimately being transferred to a fetus. Some long-term effects include cellular inflammation, antibiotic resistance, more susceptible to infections, and triggers many cancers.
It would seem that the one redeeming factor of GMO foods is they have the ability to reduce hunger in certain countries. However, we've seen that many of those very countries that stand to benefit the most do not allow the growth or sales of these GMO foods in their country. Between the lack of research and the overall potential for disease consequences, one does begin to wonder why these foods are allowed to be sold to the American public. What started out 25 years ago as a few genetically modified foods has grown into a huge business corporation that we see today through corporations like Monsanto that have the financial backing and ability to force small farms and ultimately the American people into consuming their products, whether we're aware of it or not.